Pleasure to talk to you about this film. I went to see it yesterday with no expectation at all, and I was so pleasantly surprised because it's got the best of both. It's a dramedy. It's the tone was quite right. So tell us a little bit about this and how difficult or easy was it to find the right tone?
Well, yeah, that's, I always think that the main job a director has, you are the purveyor of tone. And when you do a film like this, where the tone is kind of schizophrenic, where there's, comedy mixed with drama, or as you put it, a dramedy or a dramatic comedy, it was the trickiest part of making the film, the most challenging part, but also kind of the reason to do it for me as a filmmaker. To me, that tone mimics real life,
And those characters as well.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how many days do you have that are all totally dramatic day or a totally comedic day? It's real life has a mixture of both. So when you can capture that, it feels really real.
Yeah, and it worked very well. As I said, the characters have informed as well the story. We're talking about real life characters, but how much of it is true and how much of it had to be fictionalized for the purpose?
Well, again, we based it off of a 5-page article in Rolling Stone. So when you write a 120-page screenplay, granted, we did research and we unpacked it and we looked into it. So most of what happens is true, but that said, we certainly added flourishes, and certainly the actors bring their own characteristics to the characters. And you have a sense of freedom when you're making a movie that is not based on a historical figure. It's not Lincoln. It's not Muhammad Ali. You're doing a story about two anonymous guys in Miami, so you're able to add, the actors are able to add their own characteristics, so to speak. Yeah,
plus it's important to say you would have done a documentary otherwise.
This
is a film. It needs its own, narrative.
Thank you. That's a better answer.
Yeah.
It's cleaner.
It's a cleaner answer. I mean, they work so well together, Jonah and Miles.
Yeah.
Was it important that the chemistry worked like that when you chose both of them?
Yeah, I mean, always, casting is a huge part of what a director does also. And, we built this movie around Jonah. We wrote it for him, and I really wanted him to be in it. Once he came on board, it was really important to sort of cast someone with a good counterpunch to Jonah, somebody that doesn't live in the same space, otherwise you're tapping the same nerve. And Miles is a really phenomenal, talented actor who we are also watching the movie through his eyes. So it was really important that he's kind of sympathetic.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that works very well. How much access did they have to the real-life characters, just the research that they could do, or did they meet them? I haven't interviewed Jonah yet.
Jonah would have liked access, but he didn't have access. Ephraim was in jail when we started the movie. David, who Miles plays, he was on set a few days, and Miles certainly got to meet with him and talk to him.
So that was quite good.
I mean, think it was helpful to him. If I was an actor, I would want to meet them, but Miles wasn't as, it was too bad because Miles didn't really care. He had his own thing. Jonah would have liked it, but we didn't have access.
No, it's true. Well, although the story takes place in, starts in 2005, etc., it's so current today, especially in the last few months. So do you think that movies happen like that in a way, in a serendipitous way?
Yeah, I hope, hopefully that's interesting. I mean, this has been going on forever, so this probably, if we made it in 10 years, would still work for that time.
I'm sure.
So, unfortunately, there's been a small amount of people making a large amount of money off of war for a very long time. So, yeah, that'll probably still exist.
I'll talk about that. It's set in Iraq and in Jordan and also in Albania. Where did you actually go? We
filmed everywhere. We filmed in Jordan, we filmed in Morocco, we filmed in Romania, we filmed in Miami, we filmed in Las Vegas, we filmed in El Centro, which is near Mexico. We were everywhere. I mean, it was crazy.
How much do you like locations? Obviously, we're talking about The Hangover and all these things. Locations were very important to the vibe of the film.
Yeah.
Was it the same in this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am always, to the chagrin of the crew and the cast, I always want to shoot
them in
real locations, because I think what happens when you land in Morocco and you start shooting the next day in Casablanca, there's a chaos that it brings to the film.
Of course.
But that chaos always finds its way into the movie, and in the Hangover movies it was the same thing, and I think that's invaluable.
Tell us about Bradley Cooper's involvement as a producer in this. Obviously, he also has a small role.
Yeah.
And, working with him again on something that completely different.
Yeah. Well, Bradley, we became literally best friends on the Hangover movies, and we started a little company together at Warner Brothers. So War Dogs is the first film we produced together, and it's a good one for us because it really represents kind of a combination of our tastes, so to speak. But he was amazing because he's so much more than an actor. You know, even on the Hangover movies, he would always read scripts and give me notes, not even about his character, but just about the story. So it was really helpful to have him then in the screenwriting process and also in the editing.
Well, talking about personal taste, how important is it for you that a story resonates with you as well, or is it sometimes just a directing job?
Well, no, I mean,
I've
never done that primarily because I always write them as well. So it's never just like, oh, I'll direct that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good exercise for me.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm talented enough to just grab a script and go direct it. To me, it has to. Well, but to me, it has to kind of get into your blood, so to speak, you know, and that only happens in the writing process. So, yeah.
Was there anything in the real aspect of this story that you found, you know, unbelievable although true?
I mean, there was so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, just the idea that this, I mean, from every stage I was kind of blown away that it was true, particularly when I first read the article. If you had handed me that same article and said, oh, this is a piece of fiction in the New Yorker magazine, I would have said, this is good writing and this is a good story, but it's unbelievable. You should fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So there were so many things that I just couldn't believe were real.
Yeah, no, me neither. When I was watching it, you just have to suspend your disbelief and just enjoy the movie experience.
Yeah.
What I think is great about Jonah is you completely forget him. He just really becomes that character, and I think all the more in this one, his performance is quite extraordinary.
Oh, good.
What happens with him on set? He just turns.
Yeah, I mean, he really does inhabit the character in a big way, and. You know, he, like I said, you know, also the freedom that he has because he's not playing somebody everybody knows, you know. Nobody really knew who this guy was. So Jonah's able to come and give it, whether it's through wardrobe or through his laugh or through his hair, you know, he's able to give it this certain swagger that I think is really amazing.
And is the laugh real life?
No, that's what I mean. You know, like Jonah came to me the night before we were shooting, and he's like, "Hey, I think I figured out how this guy laughs," and I thought that's interesting. And he did the laugh for me, and I just loved it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just reminded me now about that 50-50 joke, but we don't want to give too much away about the film. But there's just those moments of comedy that come. Do you ever expect them, or do they come organically? Well, especially in a movie like this.
Yeah, I mean, they come when we're writing that line, for example. We do think it's going to be funny, but you know, I was pleasantly surprised when we first started showing this to audiences how much they were able to laugh at it. And then the movie really does take a turn in the third act, and it doesn't become that funny anymore. And I always thought that makes it a little more effective.
Shooting in Morocco and in Amman, how easy or difficult is it? A lot of movies are being shot there at the moment. Is it a good shooting location?
Oh yeah, I mean, Amman, Jordan is the best. I mean, there's such a beautiful country Jordan was, and
it's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. And Morocco's tricky because it's very chaotic, but I loved it. You know, we shot Hangover 2 in Bangkok, and it reminded me of that. But that was my favorite place to ever shoot.
Exactly, the chaos, the
adrenaline
that comes with it.
Exactly.
And plus, you could have actors that speak real Arabic, which is good for Hollywood.
Yes, true.
A lot of them in Amman, I suppose, yeah?
A lot of in Amman, I mean, and certainly in Morocco we found some. And in Romania, we shot Romania for Albania.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's mainly because there was not much of an infrastructure in Albania to make a film. Romania has great crews, you know.